Hey y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dream. If you're not new here, what's up? So I'm just gonna jump straight into it, y'all, because this story is ghetto. And I also want to preface this video by saying I do not condone or promote violence. No, fighting is not cute. However, some of these bitches need to be punched in the mouth. And that's just the fucking real. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Also, when I was a stripper, I was not just walking around getting in fights. I was in 2 stripper fights ever. And the first bitch was literally coked out. She hit me because she was fucking batshit crazy. I didn't even know her. And the second girl, I didn't know her either. But that's the story I'm about to tell. So anyway, this happened in March of 2023. Was it March? My life was just really going downhill January, February, and March of 2023. It was a really hard portion of my life. Still to this day, probably one of the hardest. Probably second runner up, but one of the hardest. I was just going through so much, and I found myself really broke. Out of nowhere. Mind y'all, I was a stripper. So I'm like, okay, there's a fix to this. How do we fix this? So in my brain, it's no brainer, duh. You go out of town. Every time I go out of town, I made stupid fucking money as a stripper. I never had a bad trip. So yeah, so I was like, fuck it. I'ma just go on tour. I'ma go state to state. Mind y'all, at this time, I'm 21, no kids. I mean, I'm 22 with no kids right now. But at the time, this is where my brain was. I'm 21 years old, no kids. My only responsibility is my rent. I pay my rent online. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be nowhere. So I had a friend, she lived in Charlotte. She lives in Charlotte. Hey Tasia, if you're watching this. She had somewhere to stay at the time. So she's like, you can come stay with me, da da da. So I ended up going from Charlotte to Tampa. I didn't work in Tampa. I kicked it with my homeboy for a couple days. Charles, hey Charles, I know you're gonna watch this. I ended up going from Tampa to, don't talk about my nail. But I ended up going from Tampa to Houston, and I stayed in Houston for 3 weeks, y'all. This was my first time ever dancing in Houston. When I tell y'all, I fell in love with Houston. The money was ridiculous, the fun was ridiculous, the people I loved everything about Houston. And I just decided in that very moment, I was like, I'm moving to Houston. There's nowhere else for me to be other than Houston. I fucking loved it. I loved it. I had so much fun. So anyway, when I was in Houston, I had a friend at the time. We'll call her A. So A was like, you can stay with me. What I didn't know is that she had other girls staying in her house, right? Which whatever, this is your house, but I ain't even gonna get into that. I'm gonna tell this story a different day, and this might be my next story time. But the girls that she had in the house were weird. I did not fuck with them. The vibes were weird. They were very weird towards me, for no reason. I didn't know them, mind y'all. And I felt like A was kind of being a follower a little bit, and that's honestly why our friendship ended after this little situation, because I didn't like how she was treating me when they were around. I didn't like how she was trying to play both sides. It's a longer story, and I'll tell it one day. I had ended up meeting a guy, I'm not gonna say his name. He had a lot of money, he was super cool, but I didn't know that he was a strip club owner. He actually owned one of the clubs that I ended up working at later. But anyway, I met him, whatever. He took me out to dinner. He took me out to the strip club. We had a good time, da da da. And he was like, if you ever want to work at a nicer club than Bucks, let me know. So I'm like, okay, for sure. Cause I'm getting to know him. He still had not told me that he was a strip club owner at this point. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Cool. So we'll call him C, and my homegirl at the time, we'll call her A. So A had actually moved to Houston when she was 20 years old. Mind you, A was a dancer, a stripper. She didn't have another job. I believe she was doing OnlyFans at the time, but she didn't have another job. And OnlyFans wasn't bringing in that much money for her. She was telling me this. I hope nobody knows what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be careful, because just because we're not friends, I'm not gonna tell her business, but it wasn't bringing in enough money for her, and she needed another way to make money. So mind you, like I said, she's 20 years old. In Houston, you have to be 21 to work in the strip club, unless you're at a really janky club that just doesn't give a fuck, but it's illegal to do that. By law, you have to be 21 to work in Houston. They make you you have to get hired at a club. Then you have to take the referral sheet that the club gives you, take it to this place to get fingerprinted, background checked, all this shit, and then you can work at the club. It's basically a dancer license. She had been complaining because, I guess her sugar daddy that was paying her rent at the time started acting funny, and he hadn't paid her shit by the year. He was paying it month by month. So, she was starting to panic or whatever. Her birthday's in March. So when I was there, her birthday was literally coming up in I think 2 weeks. So this was right after her 21st birthday. So yeah, moral of the story, she ended up turning 21 while I was in Houston, which is good because that means we can go work together, you know. I want to say this is literally the day after her birthday. Sorry guys, I literally ran out of storage. But anyway, she was super thirsty to work. But I think it was like a Sunday or something. It had to have been a Sunday because Houston be cracking on Sundays, so none of the strip clubs hire on Sundays. We couldn't find anywhere for her to go where she could get hired and make money the same day, you know. So I end up texting this guy that I had met, like the rich strip club owner guy, and I'm like, hey, like, can you figure out a club for us to get in? Like, da da da. Like, you know, I explained the situation to him. I'm like, we need help. So he sent me, he was like, I can get you into this club. Like, it's not the best club, but this is the only club you're gonna be able to bypass that, you know, all that fingerprint and background check shit at. Like, I can get y'all in, go to the front, let them know that, you know, I'm sending you and you should be straight. So cool, boom. So that's what me and my girl do, right? So me and A end up going, and the club is called Chica's. Just so we're clear, the club is called Chica's. We went in there, mind you, I'm not really expecting like anything crazy, but like I said, I'm used to working at really nice clubs in Houston. Like, so I was not prepared to see what I seen in Chica's. I don't know what it looks like now, but the club was very run down. The girls in there, like, they were like some pretty girls, but the attitudes were stank. Like, the energy was off. And that's honestly something I picked up on as soon as we walked in. Like, I was not like, honestly, y'all, looking back, I should have never, as soon as I stepped in that building and felt the vibes that I felt, I should have turned my little ass around and went home. Like, I don't know. I was trying to get some money. I was trying to help my homegirl get some money. Like, we was on a mission, period. End up going to the back, y'all. They have this little ass locker room. Don't talk about my nail, y'all. But they have this little ass locker room. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you walk into the dressing room, everything was tight. There was a million bitches working. There's like barely anywhere to sit. And then they have this little hallway thing where the lockers are, but it's like a dead end. Like, it's like a hole in the wall almost. Like, I had a purse, and the girl I was with, she had like a duffel bag or whatever. So I'm looking at this tight space. Mind y'all, there's nowhere for us to sit our stuff. Like, there's literally nowhere for us to sit our stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, I don't really know what to do at this point, but whatever. Mind y'all, we're in a club in Houston with a bunch of like girls that we don't know. Like, this is not the kind of club you can just leave your stuff out. Like, you know, if it's your home club and you know bitches don't steal, cool. This was not that type of situation in this club. Like, and then the vibes that we were receiving, I was scared. I'm like, is somebody gonna touch my shit? Like, I was really scared, y'all. We ended up putting our, like I said, that they had this tiny little hallway with a dead end in the back. So it's just a wall in the back and these lockers on the side. It's a dead end in the wall. Like, and the hallway is short. Like, it's tiny, y'all. Like, it's literally like, I want to say like no more than like 8 feet wide, if that. I don't even think that, to be honest, y'all. This fucking place was so small and tiny and like weird looking. I don't know. We ended up putting our stuff on top of the locker. Mine, y'all, I have a $3,000 Christian Dior tote bag, okay? I'm literally sitting here clutching my pearls. I'm like, bitch, like, I don't want to I did not want to put my purse there, y'all. I literally was sitting there like, and we end up getting changed and we end up hitting the floor, whatever. So there was customers in there, but nobody, when I tell y'all, not a single person was spending money. Like, I had probably seen like 5 to 6 girls go up on stage and they didn't make a single dollar. Nobody was going to do dances, like nothing. I seen one girl do a dance the whole night. Like, this shit was the most raggedy shit I ever seen in my life. I was sitting there like, we go on stage, right? Like I said, nobody has spent money all night. These guys come up, they probably throw like $120 on us, right? Which is not a lot, okay? It's not shit, actually. But in a club where no one's making money and everything is empty, like, I feel like girls were not happy about that. And also, like, you can hear, like, we don't sound like we're from Houston, you know? Like, Houston girls have an accent. Like, everybody from Houston that is actually from Texas and Houston, like, you could tell they're from Houston. We don't sound like that. So, 1, these girls know we're from out of town. 2, they ain't made no money all night. They looking crazy. 3, we're pretty. 4, we've made the only money that's in here tonight. Hoes was mad. Me and A had just decided, you know, it's so fucking so. We're just gonna put all of our money together. We're gonna combine that shit. Whatever we make at the end of the night, we'll just bust it down. Like, whoever makes it, doesn't matter. We're just gonna bust it down because it's so bad. So I had ended up going to the back one more time. I don't know what I had. I had something in my purse. I might have just been freshening up because we were there for like hours. But I ended up going to the back and I'm gonna get past this girl. There's this random ass bitch standing there. Mind y'all, I'm polite. Like, I'm not a rude bitch at all. Like, I'm not a mean girl. Like, I don't even play like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a nice girl. Like, if you are nice to me, I'm always gonna be nice to you. So I'm standing there and I'm like, oh, excuse me, like, you know, because I'm trying to get past her. Like I said, the fucking dressing room was so small. Like, if I walk past, I'm gonna bump her. So I didn't want to do that. Like, I feel like that was rude. I said, excuse me. So she was acting like she didn't hear me. So I'm like, excuse me. And she kept acting like she didn't hear me. So I'm like, excuse me, right? And so she looks at me, y'all, and she looks back down at what she's doing. So now I'm peeping the scene. I'm like, okay, well, you're just a rude bitch, and I'm not finna sit here and wait till you move out of my way. So I bump past her because, like, oh my god, bitch, like I said, excuse me 3 times. Like, you don't have to be fucking rude. Get the fuck out the way. You're in the fucking way. She gets like talking rah rah, and y'all, at this point, I'm just so annoyed. Like, I don't even listen to this bitch. I'm literally like, what the fuck ever. Like, bitch, I said excuse me 5 fucking times. Like, I'm not gonna beg you to get out of my way. Like, you must wanted me to bump you. You want you to get out the fucking way. Cool. I literally ignore her. I go do whatever I was doing with my bag, and then I come back and I go to the front and I continue to try to make some money. So fast forward all the way to like the end of the night, and not even the end of the night. It was just so slow in there. Like, me and her was like, let's go. Like, we could have went to the regular club or something or had fun, you know, like this shit is weak as fuck. We ask if we can leave or whatever. We're gonna pay our little $20 tip out and get the fuck around, you know. So cool. So we go to the back. So mind you, we walk into the back, that same girl is right there. So it's so small in there. I'm in front, or no, my friend at the time, she was in front of me. So A is in front of me, and even she's like, excuse me, and this girl's just not like moving, whatever. So we end up going back to that little, like, the part where our bags were, and you know, we're just kind of talking about it, like, and I'm just telling her, you know, this is that shit I was talking about. Like, it's time to get up out of here. Like, I don't like the energy. I don't like the vibes. Like I told y'all before, I had a Christian Dior bag, and it was the big one, like not the little one. I had the big one. I had it up on the lockers. So for me to take my clothes out of there and put my clothes back on, I have to sit it somewhere lower so that I can reach into the bag, right? Because to get it off of the lockers, I have to stand on my tippy toes. So I take my bag down and I move it into this chair. Mind y'all, there's literally like, I don't even remember what was in the chair. It was something so small. Like, I really want to say it was like a blanket or something. Like, it was literally in the corner of the chair. They're like the kind of chairs that the customers sit in, like around the stage. My bag is over here. So I have my bag here and I'm putting my clothes on. Out of nowhere, y'all, I hear this same bitch, and mind y'all, I didn't touch her shit, nothing. I hear this same bitch that I had said excuse me to earlier. She wouldn't move. She was mugging me and shit. And I don't know why bitches want to take the one chair with my shit in it. So I'm looking around like, one chair with your shit in it. First of all, there's not a single open stool or chair in this bitch. There's nowhere to fucking go. It's so little in here. Like, so I just ignore her, y'all, because like, one thing about me, I don't avoid confrontation, okay? And when you get me started, like I'm gonna go. So before you start with me, think about that, okay? Because so I'm doing my best to just not even engage with this bitch, because I'm like, yeah, I can already see how this is gonna go, and that bitch is really fucking rude and really disrespectful, and I can feel the energy heating up, right? So I'm minding my business, trying to put my clothes on. Cool. She keeps talking. And then this bitch is like, yeah, and I'll smack everybody in this motherfucker. But it's directed at me. So now I'm looking up at her because, bitch, okay, now my clothes is on. Now my slippers are back on. Now we can actually do whatever you're trying to do. Like, bitch, because you're not finna keep picking on me. So that's why I start telling her, I'm like, nobody touched your fucking shit. Your shit is right there.
Editing right now, but I also just want to add in, she was not implying that I like stole any of her stuff. She was mad because my bag was in the same chair as hers.
She was like, bitch, I'll knock everything out that purse. And we're just going back and forth. And I told her, I'm like, you're not gonna touch shit. I promise you that. When we came in the club, she was mugging. Who are you, bitch? Damn, did we meet in a past life? Like, I don't understand. She was just so mad. She was just being a fucking hater. Like, and that's another thing. She was a stripper there, but she was not working that night. So she's fully clothed in the back, just staying there all night for no reason. What are you doing here? Like, what the fuck are you doing here? It was just weird. So there's a house mom there, and that weak ass bitch. If you happen to see this, I think you're weak as hell. There's a house mom there, and she was like weird and like instigating it, like, well, that's just how she is, trying to talk to me about that girl. I said, I don't care how she is. And that's what I told the house mom. I'm like, as a house mom, why are you not getting her? Like, why is she even back here? She's not working. Like, you're sitting here letting this bitch antagonize me and threaten me. So if I feel threatened, I'm going to respond like I feel threatened, okay? So I don't know how I said it's like a hole in the wall. So the hallway is literally like this long. The door's right here. She's standing in the doorway. So She's doing all this rah-rah, right? Nobody's grabbing her, nobody's moving her, nobody's nothing. My bag's right here. I'm right here. So the only way for us to get out of this situation is to walk past her. They're trying to tell me, walk past this girl. They're like, oh, just walk out. She's not gonna touch you. I looked at the house and I'm like, are you fucking crazy? First of all, I don't know if they just thought I was like a goofy or something. Like, do I look that green? Like, do I look like I'm dumb enough to walk past a bitch and have my back turned to a bitch that's sitting here talking about she gonna fuck me up? Bitch, are you crazy? Are you crazy? No. And this is when I accepted. I accepted that there was gonna be a fight, and I was just like, fuck it, it is what it is. So at this point, she's still running her mouth and she's threatening me. She's, bitch, I'll beat your ass. I'll do this, I'll do that. Because I said she wasn't going to do shit. Bitch, you're not going to touch my purse. You touch, and that's what I told her. I said, you touch this purse, I'm going to fuck you up. You touch me, I'm going to fuck you up. So your best bet is to move from by this doorway. Take your ass over there. So the girl that I came there with, she's literally sitting there like, let's just go. She was acting really scary and I didn't like that. And y'all are going to understand why I say I don't like that in the other story time that I tell. But this bitch was oh so tough towards me when her other friends were around. But when now when we're in this fucking club and this bitch is in my face and there's one way out of here and she's blocking the doorway because she wants to fight me for God knows why, you sitting here talking about just walk past her. Are y'all okay? Like, I just could not, like, for the life of me, like, please tell me if I'm wrong, y'all. If a bitch is saying, I'm gonna beat your ass, I'm gonna do this, I'm just, she's rowdy, she's blocking the doorway, what am I supposed to squeeze past her? No, there was gonna be a fucking fight either way. Bitch, get the fuck out the way. Hello, excuse you. Like, I'm not finna sit here. Anyway, I'm just sitting there like, and I'm keeping it real cute, y'all, because one thing about me, like, I'm definitely not with all that rah-rah shit. Like, at this point, what's the point of us really doing all the hooting and hollering? Like, bitch, if you want to get out, we could get out. And that's what I told her. You know, I told her, I'm like, you really trying to get your bully on right now, but just make sure you really like that. You know, I'm sitting here telling her this in her face, but I'm standing there next to my purse, right? She said something like, oh, bitch, I'll fuck you up, whatever. And she tried to reach for my purse, y'all, while I had a stripper heel in my hand. Bad fucking idea. I don't know why she did that. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know what the fuck possessed her ass to do that, bitch. But don't let it happen again, because now I'm beating your fucking ass. So anyway, mind y'all, I'm gonna tell this story too. But like I said, the first fight I got in, that bitch was crazy and cooked the fuck out. She hit me with a stripper heel and my fucking lip was busted for like 2 weeks, y'all. It was actually so trifling. So now I'm thinking like, damn, you know, I ain't gonna lie, that bitch fucked my lip up a little bit with that little shit, you know. Let me keep this stripper heel in my hand for when I fight this bitch. Okay, cool. So I'm sitting here and I moved my shit and I was like, bitch, I just told you don't touch my shit, right? So now my purse is on the table because there was a table like in between these chairs, like a tiny little like teacup table. So I sit my fucking purse there, right? And I have this heel in the other hand. She's like, you ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna da-da-da-da. Hands all in my face, right? I just said, boop. Everybody was screaming, right? And I literally, y'all, like, this bitch, I had on like a little bob, but she had on like these fucking like big ass dookie fucking braids. I don't know what the fuck she had in her head. I'm whacking this bitch, like hair in one hand, heel in the other, just whack, like beating the fuck out of her, right? So my heel ends up fucking flying and now we're just really scrapping, like we're really like bing bing, right? Well, not weird. Honestly, y'all, I'm not even sitting here, like if I got my ass beat at all, I would tell y'all, like, all that picking on me you try to do, bitch, and you couldn't even keep up. Like, that shit is crazy. That shit is really fucking crazy. Like, why are you doing that for? I beat this bitch with a fucking heel, the pointy part of my stripper heel. This is so ghetto. Like, oh my god, y'all, do not do nothing like this. I beat her ass with a fucking heel, and then I literally had this bitch like, because y'all know how I told y'all it's that little ass fucking hallway, right? And there's like a little tiny corner and there's this little tiny entryway. I had this bitch choked up in the corner, just bing, 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 like. So anyway, I beat her ass. The owner ends up like pushing her out. He's like, you gotta go over there, you gotta go over there, you gotta go over there, whatever. So they like move her somewhere else, and then they ended up like walking me, because mind y'all, we was on our way out. I had already paid my house and everything. I'm sitting there confused, but because I'm like, first of all, you're scary as fuck, and you just stood there while I got in a whole fucking fight with this random ass bitch. Like, why were you not swinging? And we ended up getting into it about that because she was like, well, it's not like you lost, you beat her fucking ass. But bitch, I don't care. Like, we somewhere, we don't know none of these hoes. You could tell they're picking. Like, she was just being scary as fucking. That shit was weird. I did not fuck with it. Like, and after that, I didn't want to be her friend no more. I'm so heated, y'all. I'm telling him, I'm like, let me the go. I'm a that bitch up, whatever. Mind y'all, this is the fucking owner. He literally grabbed me. He was like, baby, you beat her ass, but you have to go home before the police come. I guess this bitch's eye was like shut and she was bleeding and shit. Yeah. He was like, you know, I don't wanna get you in trouble. I'm gonna act like I don't know your name, but you gotta get the fuck up out of here. And I was not about to play with the Texan police, okay? So I got the fuck up out that jam. That was the time I literally fought this random ass bitch in fucking Houston on my last day in Houston working there. My last day in Houston, period, on that trip. Which was so lame because, like, bitch, you did all this for what? Like, it was just so unnecessary. The story, y'all, don't be no fucking hater. Like, honestly, that's something I don't miss about the strip club. You don't have to know anybody in there. They'll just look at you and decide that they don't like you, like, or decide that they want to, like, pick on you. Like, I beat the fuck out of that bitch. I bet she learned something that day. You don't go fucking bullying bitches. I don't miss that ghetto ass shit. I'm not gonna lie. Aside from that, I had a pretty good time in Houston. I love Houston. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. And I will be back with another video probably this week. I'm shooting for 2 uploads a week because I just have so much to tell you guys. I love talking to you guys. I love when you guys comment on my videos. I'm literally gaining subscribers like actually kind of fast. This is crazy. Like, y'all don't understand. I've been wanting to do YouTube since I was a kid. Like, there's literally videos of me from when I was like 9 or 10 on YouTube still to this day. Like, I've been wanting to do this and I've just always been so scared. And honestly, now that I'm doing it, I don't even know what I was really scared of. Like, hope that you guys enjoyed this story time. Remember, violence is not the answer, but sometimes you gotta punch a bitch in her shit. And if y'all haven't already, please be sure to go follow my new Instagram. It's dream.bias. I literally just made it. I have like 2 followers. Like, please. Y'all be smooth. I'll see y'all in a few days, okay?